What is going on? Dennis here from the Mario Superstars Baseball Long Island Basement Club, and I just want to finally get this video out. It is 2:15 in the morning. I've been studying all night for my anatomy and physiology class, and this is long overdue. I don't have any fancy edits or anything, I guess, cool to make this video with. I'm just having music in the background and a piece of paper in front of me. And this is just my personalized list. It's not, I don't want to say this is a player ranking or tier list. It's just how I would draft a team in order, I guess. So you're going to see a lot of things, like players that are all around good fall to the wayside, because when you're drafting a team, you're just trying to win, score runs, and suppress runs as best as possible. And if characters aren't exponentially better in the field or on offense, and their stars either cost more or aren't very good at all, I'm personally going to shy away from them. I feel as though that you should always have a softball effect, so never make the last out, whether that's singles, stealing bases, moving the runners over, right? Just being a tough out. I would take someone who I'm more confident at bat than I am in the field, just because you never really know if the fielding's going to matter. There's games that I'll have Yoshi in left field or right field, and not a single ball gets hit to him, right? And it's like, okay, well, Yoshi's bat might not be the greatest, and I took him over offensive players, and he didn't matter, right? And in these games, he does matter. So you never really know, but you do know you're going to have at least 5 at-bats a game for each player. Don't mind the World of Warcraft music. Actually, I hope you do mind. I hope you like World of Warcraft. Classic has been awesome so far. So this is my player rankings. We draft based off of if you have the first pick, you have the 4th pick, then the 6th pick, and the 8th pick. So it's every other up until the first 4 picks. It's just if you have the 1st, 3rd, 5th, right, you're always going to be picking ahead of your opponent, and that's obviously not very fair. So yeah, let's get into it. So the best player in my mind that should be first overall, debatably, which is fine, is Donkey Kong. He is probably the 4th best hitter in the game without a star. When you have a star or 2 stars with him, he becomes the 2nd best player, if not the most dangerous hitter in the game. With runners in scoring position with 2 outs and a star, I would prefer him over any other player. That just might be me. You really rarely get doubled up, so you're not getting into multiple outs or getting into a jam with his star. So Birdo, there's a lot of times where Birdo just doubles up and it kills the inning. Or Wario, I think Wario and Birdo have better stars, but they also are very more volatile to create inning and double plays or triple plays. Donkey Kong's is not. Pretty much off the bat, you can pretty much debatably tell if it's going to land for a double, triple, or be an out, unless you have Yoshi. But even if you play the game enough, you know what Yoshi can or can't get to. So I think with the star, he's debatably the best or 2nd best hitter in the game. He hits balls to left center and right center for gappers, for doubles and triples, if you are repeatedly tapping the B button. He's not just homer happy or pull happy or single happy. He can get extra baits. He can get slap hits for doubles and triples. Maybe not really triples, but doubles. He's the best shortstop in the game, if not best 2nd baseman in the game, depending on when you want to play him. He has a great arm. You do not need a connection at first base. His arm is good enough to get double plays without a connection, so you're not forced to take a worse player to have a connection. But he does have connections to Diddy, Dixie, and Petey, 3 players that I would gladly play in the outfield, pitcher, home, right? He has star throw home as well. I've noticed it's faster to cut it off with him in the outfield and then throw it home with him than having a player with an okay-ish arm with a connection. So pretty much you do not need to have outfielders with a connection to play him at shortstop. Just cut it off with him every time and throw it home. And again, a lot of times I don't really I shy away from the connections, because it's rare that me throwing it home with a connection is going to save a run or steal a run away. Offensively, I would just take the offense. But with Donkey Kong, it just helps my game plan even more, because I'm already not taking guys for chemistry purposes. I really don't give a crap, and I do well without it. It only enforces that I do not need a connection, because he can just cut it off every single time. So I think everything rolled into one. He's hands down the best player in the game, best all-around player. Bowser is 2. I think Bowser is homer or bust though, but he just creates so many runs offensively with his bat that can't not be the best offensive player. The problem is with Bowser is that if you were taking him as a captain, you are losing because you are not using a star with Bowser. He creates more runs without a star. So that means you're taking, obviously, someone with 1 star potential away. You don't have anyone with 1 star, at least any big name captain with a 1 star. So that does hurt you. He can just stand in the box, though, not move left or right, not wiggle around, and he can generate contact from any part of the plate, which obviously then is up to you, the batter, to fuck up, to make a mistake. And I think when you are pitching to someone like Bowser, it's scary because you can throw it off the plate, they make the adjustment, and it's off. It's a homer. You throw it inside, you move all the way in, and unless that ball's hitting Bowser, he can still hit it out for a homer, right? So I think offensively, he's great. The problem is he can't play any other position but catcher or first. The anti-chemistries, I don't really care. It really rarely comes into effect because you'll see the players that I like in my draft. If you have not already watched the videos, which I hope you guys do. By the way, shout out to, I think it's New Paltz or Mario Superstars Baseball MP Club. You guys make great content, and I don't have a Discord yet. I would like to get into the Discord. I saw it last week, so I look forward to that. And thank you guys for the content. You guys, we all watch your videos in Long Island, so we'd love to play with you guys. Hopefully you guys watch the video, this video and my other videos. We don't really, like I said, we don't really have any fancy equipment. I really don't know how to do that. Just put a camera and film the games, but you guys make really great content, and of course the commentary is awesome too, so thank you for that. But back to Bowser, he doesn't have really anti-chemistry with anyone that I choose, so I really don't care. And he does have connections to Hammer Brew and Green Dry Bones or Dry Bones, so that helps me out as well too. So I think Bowser's the second best player in the game, best hitter in the game, debatably. So that's first tier. So the start of the second tier, I have Boomerang Bro at 3. I think Boomerang Bro is way better than Hammer Bro and Fire Bro. I don't think Fire Bro and Hammer Bro are very good at all. I think they pop up too much. They line out hard too much. They're single or homer, which again is fine, but their homer rate is a lot lower than Petey Piranha and Bowser and Donkey Kong. But with Boomerang Bro, you're not forced to have to hit a homer to get an extra base hit, slap hit, star hit, double, triple down the line. I think he's a lot more dangerous to pitch to. He can hit homers to left, center, and right. And again, it's not always about hitting home runs. I rarely power swing. You don't need, the amount of times you're going to fly out, line out with a power swing with any player, then slap hitting, getting a single, and stealing second base by timing it, perfectly. You're going to create more runs that way. You're gonna get less outs that way. So I think Boomerang Bro is a great power hitter, and he's a great slap hitter. His homer rate's way better than King Boo, and his slap hit's better than King Boo too. So I think Boomerang Bro is 3, Petey Piranha's 4. Petey Piranha, just quit pitch him, try to get it to go the other way with it. He does the connections with Donkey Kong and a couple other players. Forgetting Birdo, which obviously is always useful. Awful in the field, but has a great arm. Pretty much just homer first is the only place I play him. Probably the worst fielder in the game. I do not ever want Petey Piranha anywhere in the field on a pop-up or grounder. But the amount of home runs he hits is crazy. One thing is I've seen worse players do better with Petey Piranha than any other character. Whether or not he's the easiest to hit with, I don't know. But there's so many people that I'll play that don't really play the game that much, and they'll hit homers with Petey. So, whether or not that's because he's easy to hit with, I don't know. But usually you're either on with him or you're off with him, and that leads me to my next player. So that's the end of the second tier. So the third tier is King Boo. There's games that I'm 4 for 4 or I'm 0 for 4. It's all timing with him. His homer rate is lower than the top 4 hitters, but his slap hit is he strikes out the most too, and he swings and misses the most too. So I think he's a peg below the other 4 guys, but he still is the 5th best power hitter in the game. and one of the only hitters I'll power swing with, but I tend to slap it with him more. I have a lot more success with slap hitting with him than I am power swinging. For every like 7 outs, maybe I'll hit a home run, and to me that's just, unless there's bases loaded, I'm not power swinging for the most part. I'd rather have him on second base with no outs, or first and third with no outs, than pop out. So I think he is, though, the best third baseman. He has connections to players that I've played first base, like Boo, and I forget who else, but I think everything rolled to one. He's the 5th best player in the game. He could emergency pitch for you too if you have given up a shit ton of runs. So I think he's the 5th best player. I take him, after those 4 guys, I take him every time. You see the videos, I take him every time. And I have more on my phone, I just haven't posted any. I just really want to get this out as quick as possible. So that's 3rd tier. 4th tier, and I've gone over this time and time again in my head, but realistically, one of these 2 are always going to be taken as a captain, or at least they should. If you have 2 and 3, 1 should always be Donkey Kong in my mind, but then when you have the 2 and 3, which makes the pick fair, one of these guys should always get taken. So I have Wario at 6 and Birdo at 7. I think if you have them each as a 1-star captain, so if Birdo's your captain, she's 7th. If Wario's your captain, he's 6th. If you do not choose Birdo as your captain, so you choose Donkey Kong, and let's just say Birdo doesn't get picked, I would probably slide Birdo, realistically, 11, 12 in my rankings. I would slide Wario if he's not chosen as a captain, so you choose DK, and then someone chooses Birdo instead of Wario. I would probably put Wario at 7, 8. So Wario is debatably the same. So with Wario, I think he's the best second baseman in the game. I think he's not as great at a shortstop just because he doesn't have the arm, and I've seen a lot more balls he gets to at second base. Like I'm just very confident throwing him out at second base with the amount of line drives he saves to the right and left field, left side. Donkey Kong I think is a better shortstop, but I would still throw him at short if I had to, but I'm more comfortable with him at second base than anything else. He tends to hit the ball more up the middle of the field, and I feel as though he doesn't put as much air on it. A lot more of his slap hits aren't as airy. Birdo, whenever she hits the ball over the infield, I've seen a lot more balls hang up. His home run rate is way better than Birdo's too, and I think his star is less volatile. So Birdo, if you hit the ball to the shortstop or second baseman, you have men on base, it's a double play every time. You're always out. With Wario, you can at least hold runners up, let the ball drop, and still get a double and have 2-run score. Or if they go for the run ball, you have an inside the park home run. So I think his star is better too. He hits more homers. So I think he's 6th, and I think Birdo's 7th. Birdo, her animation just takes way too long in the infield. I tend to only play her at second base if I don't have Wario, if I don't have a shortstop. The thing is, while she might save line drives, when she's sucking in on grounders, you're not getting that player out at shortstop or third base unless you have a connection, which, again, I don't want to have to rely on my 6th overall pick to have a connection to be efficient. I just don't want that. So I think Birdo is 7th. I think Wario is 6th. I don't think Birdo's very good at hitting at all without her star, and that's an issue. So if you don't have her for a captain, you're wasting 2 balls for her star, which is still good, because if you were putting her behind someone like Bowser, you were forced to pitch to Bowser if you have stars. And at the same time, if you do have a 2-star captain, like, so let's say you own Mario or Peach or Daisy, right? For you to realistically have 2 stars with men on base, for it to be worthwhile, is going to be very, very slim, right? It's the same thing about having a fielder in the outfield who might be a little bit better than someone else. The situation has to line up perfectly if you have 2 stars, because you need to have 2 stars with men on base, and the situation just be like, if you're up 4 runs or down 3 runs, you might want to save those stars for lesser hitters. If you're taking someone so early that costs 2 stars, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your weaker players, or the players that might benefit a lot more with 1 star than using a 2-star that might only go for a single or a double at most. So I think she hurts you a lot more with 2 stars than Wario does, because you're not forced to use Wario's star. You're pretty much forced to use Birdo's star every single time, because Birdo doesn't ever have extra base hits, and her homer rate is way lower. So I think Wario's 6th, Birdo's 7th as a captain. If Wario is not a captain, I think he falls to 7, 8, and I think Birdo falls to 12-ish. End of 4th tier. 5th tier, I have Yoshi at 8. Now, I've had this back and forth. I just think Yoshi saves so many runs in left field for her to not be eighth. The amount of balls in left field that are line drives or fouled or just over the shortstop's head, I feel this happens a lot more than in right field or center field. Center field, there's not that many balls that are really uncatchable for any center fielder. Everything hit over the center fielder's head is usually very, very high up in the air, and that really happens. And pretty much if you have any fast outfielder, you can get to it. If you've noticed, most of the balls that are hitting the left center, center field gap, a lot of times they give you the left fielder to start out with. So having Yoshi in left field, I think, is a lot more important because you're starting out with Yoshi. He's faster. You get there with the left fielder, suck it up down the line, right center field, left center field. So I think Yoshi in the field is the best left fielder in the game. Probably one of the only characters I would really say helps you defensively to the point where I would pay for the defense. Does have connections with Birdo. I don't think it's a great hitter. I think the special's awful. I never use the special. It's pretty much a single, and it costs 2 balls, and it goes foul a shit ton, and it only works as a single. So special's awful. Power's awful. But can slap and get singles, and can steal second base pretty much with ease on any, without P.D. Piranha behind home plate, can pretty much get a double into any single. So I have Yoshi at 8 with the defense, with the base running, with the slap hit single effect. So that's 8. Boo in the same tier is my 9th. I think Boo is a good first baseman. I think Boo is an awful pitcher. I don't use Boo ever on the mound. So the way I play is not the way I play, but I grew up playing baseball. I don't know if you can tell. I grew up playing baseball my entire life and other sports, in video games, very competitively. Mario Baseball is all about timing, right? It's all about not being able to put the bat on the ball. So if someone has more movement than another pitcher, that's great. But if I can see the ball from its release point and time it specifically out of reach and see where the ball is on the angle or where it's coming out, where its release point is, I can time the ball better, right? And Boo and Waluigi come all the way back here, and then they just throw it. And you know exactly where it's going to be. So whether or not it has more curve or not, if I can time my power swing, time my regular swing, and just adjust inside-outside, I'm going to hit the ball better. Someone like Monty Mole, Dixie, Diddy, Goomba, they do this little hop and then the ball comes out. It's this little hop and the ball comes out. Like you can't time it. That makes a better pitcher. So I have Boo at 9th, not because of the pitching. She's one of the best fucking hitters in the game, or he is. The amount of doubles, it's like double. Slap it, double. Slap it, double. Down the line, double. Star's awful. The amount of fucking doubles I get with Boo is insane. Fielding is awful. Just throw her at first base. Throw her at first. That's my thing. Just throw him at first base. I mean, if you have King Boo, you have a connection. So throw him at first. I think does Wari have a connection with Boo too? Maybe. I think he does too. So the amount. So just off pure hitting, Boo. If you're losing by 8 runs, you could still bring her in. While you suck by giving up 8 runs, you could still suppress and give up maybe 3 or 4 earned runs going forward. So I have Boo at 9. 10th, I have Red Magic-Coop. Just outside of Boo, only because Magic-Coop needs a star to get a double. And she's not really great in the field, or he's not really great in the field. Very slow. Pretty much if the ball goes past you and you don't outrun it, it's a double. If you use the sucker and you miss, it's a double, triple. So awful in the field for in the outfield, but can play a good second base, can play a good shortstop. Obviously you would need a connection, but I think putting her after a Bowser or after a Donkey Kong or after a King Boo, right? You are forced to pitch to your power hitter, because if you have stars, which you will almost always have 1 star, bases loaded, 1 out, or no outs, it's pretty much a single double almost every single time given. and I think that's very scary. I think her one-star is the best in the game for one-stars. Probably the best, probably one of the best stars, probably the fourth best star hit in the game. So I would put Wario Birdo, Magic Coop, Donkey Kong, right, in that same tier. I'd rather have Magic Coop, with 1 star than having to use Wario or Birdo with 2 stars. That's just me. So first, second, best in the game. So second baseman, shortstop, she can play. I would usually like to have a connection there, and I think can still slap it without a star too. Can get singles. I've popped some homers with her too as well. But I just think because you need pretty much a star to generate extra base hits, and the fact that she's not the greatest in the field and she doesn't really have connections at first, to play her at first or home is just not really conducive, and she's very slow. So that's why she's not where Yoshi is. Okay, and that's the end of my 5th tier. Now this tier is interchangeable. I think this is the right tier, but 11 through 13 are all, you can put them where you want. So 11, I have Toadsworth. I think Toadsworth is right after Magic Coop. I do not pitch with Toadsworth. He does have star catch, just like Red Magic Coop, but he doesn't have a sucker. I wish he did have a sucker. That would be pretty cool. I usually play him in center field, just because he does have a pretty good ball dash. He can't dive, but has a pretty good ball dash. And usually in center field, I just want someone who I can guarantee is not going to bobble it, and he doesn't. Has a very good star. He's a little more swing and miss prone than Red Magic Coop, but can still get singles, but the star's awesome. The star catch is awesome. So I think, I tend to draft him at that spot. 12, I have Diddy. I think Diddy is not good at hitting at all, but his star is good if you do have 2. Probably the 5th best in the game, or 4th best for a captain. Connections to Donkey Kong, connections to Dixie, right? Very fast, has star catch, probably the best right fielder in the game. I tend to play him at right because if I have Donkey Kong at shortstop, I have a connection to Donkey Kong at short. And I think, cutting balls off down that line will make doubles be singles, and I think it's very important. Usually, again, in center field, it's usually either a double, an out. There's really no judgment there. Just play enough games and you'll see. I thought center field was very important when I first started playing the game, and it's not. A lot of times, balls are either pulled. A lot more hard hit balls are pulled than they are hit to center field. So he plays right field. I think he's very good on the mound. I think he's the 3rd best pitcher in the game. Pitch with him. Just say pitch with him. 3rd best pitcher in the game. So I think he's 12. But again, this is subjective, and I think Goomba is 13. Goomba is the best pitcher in the game. I don't care what anyone says. Goomba is the best pitcher in the game. The best. Pitch with him. You'll see. He does the little hop and then the release. A little release, then a lot of hop, then a release. You can't time the pitch. And if you can't time the pitch, it doesn't fucking matter how much movement, how much speed. If you can't time the pitch out of relief point, things will move faster, things will look faster, things will move quicker. If you can't time it, it doesn't matter if it's 70 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour, right? If you have a pitching machine, going 95, but you can see the ball from its movement, or your pitching machine at 70 miles an hour, the difference between a 90 mile per hour fastball and a 70 mile per hour fastball is this. But if you can't see it doesn't matter how fast it is. You can't. Nathan Eovaldi throws 98 miles an hour. His fastball looks flat as fuck. I'm a Yankee fan. His fastball looks flat as fuck. Goomba, best pitcher in the game. I personally hit with Goomba very, very well. Let's go to Grizzly Hills music. So I think I hit with Goomba very well. I tend to know. So there's a couple other players like Noki and such that I'll hit with, and the ball is hit too hard at a second baseman or shortstop so that I can't get back to first base in time, or second base, and I get doubled up with Goomba. He hits it very, very soft, so you have enough time to get back to base. You're not getting into a double play. His star is not good. I have used it a couple times, and it's hit or miss. but the pitching is just very, very good, and he has the fast ball dash off the mound too. So I think everything rolled into one. He's the 13th best player, and I'm putting him here because I want to have at least one pitcher in the top 18. And I usually tend to take him because I don't want to verse him, so I tend to take him right around that spot. Sometimes I'll take him over Toadsworth, and I'll take him over Diddy. But 11, 12, 13, same tier, all interchangeable. I think that tier is good where it is. Toadsworth, the bat. Diddy, the fielding, who can pitch, connections, a good star, an okay bat, but can bunt and can steal. And then Goomba, the pitching. I personally hit with Goomba. And I think the pitching is just fucking exponentially better than the other pitchers. So this is the 7th tier. And I think this is very much the order it should go in. I have Green Dry Bones at 14, so has a connection with Bowser. I think does not need to start a hit. Is a good slap hitter, a good singles hitter. The star is very, very good. It's very, very good. It's almost where Toadsworth is and Red Magic Koopa is. And this is just through trial and error. So again, I think his singles hit is just as good as Mario's, just as good as pretty much anyone's. And when you add a 1-star, which you will almost always have a 1-star, a single into a double, you're forced to pitch to them. And he does have a connection to Bowser, and he's not bad. He's not awful on the field. He's not too slow. He has an okay arm. He can get the job done. 15, I have Green Koopa Paratroopa. Very, very fast. Very, very fast. Well, I'll play, him in center field or her in center field or right field or left field, depending on who I have. Decent arm. Decent, good enough arm. Again, the star's great. Has an Alfonso Soriano type stance, so don't throw inside, you'll hit me. Same with Goomba. Goomba gets hit by a lot of pitches too. So you can get hit by pitches easily. Again, a good singles hitter, star hit makes him even better. And I think that a 1-star, can make anyone a threat. Realistically, there's really only 5 players I would really call homer heavy, and that's the first 5 guys ranked. After that is Wario, but I've seen Wario have, out of every 20 at bats, if you power swing with Wario for 20 at bats, I've seen Wario hit 1-0 home runs and line out almost 1 in every 20 at bats. If the ball's hit in the air, it's almost a fly out with almost any player. So I think having a single slap hitter is very valuable, especially with a 1-star. So I think Green Dry Bones and Green Koopa Paratroopa 14, 15 is where it should be. Now this one is, I might get some shit for it, but I have Mario at 16. Mario, I hit better with Mario than probably Daisy, Waluigi, Peach, Luigi, Bowser Jr., right? I hit better with Mario. Mario is very fast in the outfield, has a decent arm. And you can use him on the mound. He's an all-around good player. Obviously, the stats show it and indicate it. His star is not terrible. It's pretty much an instant single or double if you do have the 2 stars. I'm more confident with him hitting than I am this next player. But the fact of the matter is that the other 2 have stars for 1. And I think that's more dangerous to have because there's going to be a lot more times you always have 1 star. You could always use it. And with Mario, again, if you foul one off or you swing and miss, you might not have an extra base hit with Mario because I'm never power swinging with Mario. And the amount of doubles I hit with Mario on just regular single hits is going to be at the same rate as any one I already mentioned, right? So the fielding is good, but it's not good enough for me to really put him much higher. Green Noki, I have at 17. This is all the same tier. I have Green Noki behind Mario because Green Noki at the plate, I'm not as confident with when it comes to just not having a star. Like Green Paratroopa, Koopa Paratroopa, and Green Dry Bones, I'm more confident without a star. I can get hits with them just like I can with Mario. But Green Noki and Noki in general, I tend to have a lot more shitty outs, a lot more dribblers to second base or little pop-ups to second base shortstop that are hit too hard that I can get doubled up on. Mario, I don't really have that, and the other 2, I don't really have that either. Noki is a great fielder, better than Dry Bones and Koopa Paratroopa. But again, she's not better for me to sacrifice offensively. But the 1 star is good. Again, the other two I think have better 1 stars. I think she's the last 1 star character that I like to use. So I have to put her there too, just because again, if I miss out on a couple guys, having her with 1 star is always helpful. So that's my end of 7 tier. So 14, 15, 16, 17 is Dry Bones, Green Koopa Paratroopa, Mario, and Green Noki. 8th tier, and this is really not definitive from here on out. It's subjective. 18 is Daisy. Daisy, I actually think her star is better than Mario. I think she's very good. I just hit worse with her, and I feel the worse with her than I feel with Mario. Mario has a better arm to me and is faster, at least I've noticed. She takes a lot of small steps, kind of like Toadette. Toadette might be fast, but a lot of small steps. But an okay singles hitter, pops up a little too much for me. I'll never see her hit a home run. I'll never power swing with her. But the star hit puts her up really high because it's still a very good star. It's a very good star. I think her star is better than Mario. But again, I rarely have her on my team. But she can pitch a little bit, and you can play her at second base, emergency second baseman. And I think she's just below Mario, which is why I think she's 18. And plus, again, Mario I hit better with than everyone else. So if I slap it better with Mario than I do Daisy, I'm gonna put Mario better with Daisy. So 19, I have Waluigi, an emergency second baseman, an emergency shortstop. You could still use him on the mound. I slap it with him very well. The star hit's very bad. Does have some half decent connections that will benefit me, and is a good fielder. So I have Waluigi at 19. 20 is Dixie, and 21 is Monty Mole. Dixie and Monty Mole, I think, are 2, 3, 4, top 4 pitchers in the game. Just use them. You'll see. I can't express it enough. The timing. Just use them. Monty Mole, I actually hit better with than Dixie, but Dixie is a very good outfielder, has good connections, is fast, is a great bunter. Her star hit is not bad at all. It's just about making contact with her. There's games that go 4 for 4, games that go 0 for 4. If I need an outfielder, if I need another pitcher, if I really want to go the whole connections route, if I'm playing someone who I know is going to be a really close game, I'll sometimes sacrifice the offense for Dixie. And then Monty Mole is, again, an emergency pitcher. He can slap hit, he can steal, just really not very good in the field. You'd have to probably pretty much play him at first base, because he has the ball dash. So again, 21, 20, all these players are interchangeable. I think this is a good tier for every single one of them. And again, even the next tier of players that I have it's preference. It's who you hit with better. So some people hit with Toad. I think Toad sucks. So if you want to put Toad after 17, I think that's fine. Everything else from 17 after is 18. I guess 18 to the end of the list is pretty much who you play with better. But I just have Dixie and Monty at 20, 21 because of the pitching, the connections, the fielding. They're fast, and I can slap it with them. 22, I have Peach. Peach has the star catch and is a great fielder and can pitch. Bat is awful, star is awful, isn't exponentially better in the outfield. I will probably never own Peach in a game that I have to, but just looking at it objectively, I think she's 22. Luigi is 23. Why Luigi over Mario? Well, because I've seen a lot. Luigi, because he's left-handed, and this might be just how I see it, there's a lot more balls he hits at the second baseman than Mario hits at the shortstop. I feel as though Luigi gets robbed a lot more because at second base, I feel as though there's a lot less balls that go through the hole, and obviously you're never going to run a ground ball hit to the second baseman. His star is awful, and I feel his arm is not as strong as Mario. Maybe that's just me. I feel as though his arm isn't as strong, and I've seen him bobble a lot more balls in the outfield than I've seen Mario. Again, this just could be me, trial and error, but the fact his star, he's left-handed, he bobbles balls, His arm isn't as great, and I'm not as confident with him at the plate. I've just seen Wario and Birdo rob him every single time. Every time I rip the ball between, it just seems like it's always caught. Especially because when you hit the ball to left field on a line drive or a ground ball, the third baseman and the shortstop get into that little glitch. That doesn't happen as much with lefties. It happens far more often. You guys know it happens far more often with righty batters. So maybe it's me, I don't know, but the Star's awful too. 24 is Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. Stars, I think, is actually pretty good. I think it's a fair double. Has connections to Bowser. Isn't a great fielder, but again, if you really want a connection, and you want to just throw him in right field or left field or center field and have a connection with Bowser, then you can do so. His star is not terrible. I've popped a homer or two with him a couple times. He just tends to put a little too much air underneath his balls for singles. His bat it looks long, but it's really not. He can't hit pitch on the outside part of the plate. And I think 24 is a good spot for him. And then 25, I have Toadette, just pretty much the speed and the fact that she can make singles into doubles. Her star's not terrible, but there's really never ever a reason for me to ever draft her in a real league. I mean, if we're not taking out the 10 best players in the game, I'm never really targeting her anywhere. A couple quick notes is that I think Toad is awful. I can't stress this enough. Toad is awful. The amount of pop-ups, line-outs, balls that aren't stretched to doubles because he hits the ball too hard down the left field line when it is a hit. Star sucks. Awful connections to players I would never own. Is so small that, yes, he might look fast, isn't fast. Times I've stolen with him where he beats the throw and is called out because of the animation that is broken in the game. Is pull happy, I think, is awful. He looks scary, but he's not. He sucks. And if it's a shade, I don't care if I offend you, Toad. You're not good. No one take Toad. If you take Toad and you are power swinging with Toad, good luck. I've given up 1 to 2 home runs over the course of this game to Toad, to the amount of flyouts and pop-outs and line-outs and double plays because he hits the ball so hard at the second baseman, I throw it back real quick with the first baseman. Go ahead, draft Toad. The Pink Menace, I actually don't think is too terrible. Again, there's never a reason for me to own him, but he has star throw home. He's pretty good at second base and shortstop with his slide. He sucks at bunting and he sucks at running, but his star, I've gotten a double a couple times and I have popped the homer a couple times. So I don't think the Pink Menace is actually too terrible. I think Baby Mario, Baby Luigi suck. Koopa, again, is not terrible, but you're rarely getting an extra base hit. The game was designed a way that I think is great, but I think hurts it. There's not enough players that hit home runs. So the home run rate, I feel as though for the lesser characters should be a lot higher than what it is. So, just over time, trial and error, while Birdo may hit home runs and while Toad may hit a home run, the amount of times you get out or pop out with these characters is not enough to ever power swing. Even King Boo, the amount I swing and miss or strike out or foul ball or line out, it's really, you're better off just slap hitting and getting a double because a single brings you home. So if you're confident enough with your lesser hitters and you have stars saved up, never get out. Take out the pitcher that's good, have the next opponent throw a shitty pitcher in there, and you're gonna score more runs that way. So to go back over the tiers, Donkey Kong first, Bowser second, end of tier 1. Tier 2, Boomerang Bro, Petey Piranha 4, end of tier 2. 3, in his own tier is King Boo at 5. 4th tier, Wario is at 6, Birdo is at 7. I don't think Birdo's good at all either. It's just really a star and a suck. I mean, who doesn't love sucking? So 5th tier, 8 is Yoshi, 9 is Boo, 10 is a red magic coop. End of tier 5. 11 through 13, I think you can interchange them. It's all just who you want that given mode, but I think those are the 3 that should always be taken in a general order. So 6th tier, 11th is Toadsworth, 12th is Diddy, 13th is Goomba, the best pitcher in the game. Guys, if you don't believe me, just use Goomba. Watch my games. Use Goomba. Trust me, meta-changing game. Use Goomba. So the 7th tier, 14th is Green Dry Bones, 15th is Green Koopa Paratroopa, 16th is Mario, 17th is Green Noki. End of tier 7. Tier 8, 18th is Daisy, 19th is Waluigi, 20 is Dixie, 21 is Monty Mole. End of tier 8. And again, that it's just, I usually go Daisy. 19, 20, 21. If you want to take Peach or Toadette or Luigi or Bowser Jr. over one of those 3, that's fine. I was just going from a ranking standpoint because I rarely own these guys on my team. I just want it to be fair, because if I have Goomba at 13, I pretty much have to rank the pitchers at 19, 20, 21 just because they can pitch or can field. So I feel like I had to objectively, or I guess maybe subjectively, put them there. Maybe that's me, maybe, I don't know. But so 22, 9th tier is Peach, 23 is Luigi, 24th Bowser Jr., 25th Toadette. Again, I rarely take Peach. I would probably offensively take Luigi over Peach, and I'd probably take Bowser Jr. over Peach. But Peach is the better fielder, the better pitcher, has star catcher. So, I mean, she is the better player, but I think she's a worse hitter. But that's just me. Don't take Toad. Guys, I'm Dennis from the Mario Superstars Baseball Mount Sinai Baseball League. Thank you very much for watching this video if you made it all the way through. I really appreciate you guys, and I really want to get more content out. All my friends are at school right now, so it's pretty much just me and my friend Feldman just playing this game. So if there's any way to play online, or we all meet up somewhere, anyone who watches these videos, that'd be great. We always want to play more people and get better at the game and just talk about this game that we love. And I hope the Switch could remaster it because that'd be fucking awesome. I'm tired of these fucking tennis games and these Mario Olympic games. I don't care. As soon as they took baseball out of the Olympics, I got pissed because I knew this would not be a thing in Mario baseball games anymore. So, I love you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.